Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me, Grand Cruise Astrology. My name is Clayton, and today we're talking about Mercury coming to conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. I did a video about Mercury coming into Taurus early in the week. So, Mercury came into Taurus early in the week, and things may have slowed down on sort of an intellectual, communicative level um, because Taurus is a fixed Earth sign, and so when Mercury comes into Taurus, things can get a little bit maybe bogged down and just a little more basic and tending to the to-do list, and it can be a little bit limiting for Mercury, who likes to connect dots and sort of be all over the place. Well, so Mercury is still in Taurus. It's going to be there for a couple weeks, about another 10 days or so, I think. But it is coming to Uranus now and meeting up with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so um, neither Mercury nor Uranus do very well in the sign of Taurus. They're very different energies than the Taurus expression. So Mercury and Taurus, Mercury and Uranus, they're very similar to each other in that they can be both be have to do with intellect. They both have to do with objectivity. Uranus is just a larger energy. It's more generational, and it's a more futuristic sort of. You could almost call it an Aquarian like energy. It has to do with group innovative change over generational time. Um, so when Mercury and Uranus come together, they can accentuate one another. However, in the sign of Taurus, it can be a little tricky because Taurus, as we said, can limit these energies, whereas Uranus is very fast moving, very fast paced, very lightning quick, revolutionary change. Taurus is all about security. Taurus is about making sure you have all your ducks in a row, making sure you have all your linens in a linen closet and your clothes hung up on the hangers, and just everything is in its place. Um, and that we got enough money in the bank, and enough food in the pantry, right? So Uranus comes in. It's been in Taurus for a while, and it's bringing this sort of shakeup, right? Think of Taurus being fixed Earth and Uranus being lightning, and it strikes and brings this sort of earthquake. It shakes things up at the foundations, and so that's an ongoing energy. It's been in place for a year and goes on for another 6 years. And it's just sort of kind of an underlying energy for the most part until it gets aspected by another planet. Well, the end of the week, end of the weekend, we have Mercury aspecting Uranus. So what does that mean? It means that um, it's bringing some of that mercurial attention. It's bringing our thoughts, our communication, our perceptions, our movement into the Uranian shakeup that's going on in Taurus. So that can look like that can look like us really bringing outside the box thinking into our day to day checklist, if you will. Things that we have our way that we go about life to keep our sanity, keep all our ducks in a row, to keep ourselves moving forward, and to keep things steady, to have some amount of stability. We all have certain patterns that we live by in order to keep ourselves grounded and keep things on an even keel, right? Well, Uranus has been shaking that up, and with Mercury coming in there, some attention's being brought to that space. So, how can we revolutionize our day-to-day constructs and our patterning to fit the changes that are happening around us? This is already on a lot of us being forced upon us to adjust. I mean, Uranus has a lot to do with technology. And so a lot of us are having to really get oriented to technology in order to keep our um, ducks in a row as far as material sustenance is concerned. I mean, whether it's like online banking or, you know, connecting with people through work to make sure that we are, have a steady stream of income, and that everything is, uh, every that we still have what it is that we need. We're having to rely on technology, whether it's Zoom or YouTube or podcasting, whatever it is, to keep getting our message across in such a way that it sustains us, right? And keep those interconnections happening that keep us going, right? This revolutionary change has already been in place, and it's already been happening. However, with Mercury going in, it's going to bring in the potential for genius, newness, outside the box thinking of how we can update. Okay, some of that's already been forced upon us, but how can we further that? How can we uh, put in our own 2 cents and further that process along to benefit us individually, and us and family and people that are close to us? This is when we're talking about Taurus, it's very personal. So, with Mercury going in there, we may have strokes of insight as to how we could do this. What makes sense for us on a day to day level, on a very logical front. So use this energy; it's there. It can be very very quick, very fast, very electric. Uh, Mercury is said to rule lightning, and given that I've done a study in the past on people that have been struck by lightning, they all had Uranus and Mercury in aspect to one another, very direct aspect to one another. So there's something to electricity when you're talking about these two planets getting together. So just keep that in mind, that there can be some buzz to tap into and use. Okay, you don't want to get struck by lightning, obviously, but uh, you can feel and use electricity in a very visceral way to create outcomes in your life. Uh, Take that metaphor for what it's worth and use it. Now, we also have Venus in the sign of Gemini. Okay, so Gemini is a Mercury ruled sign. And so with Venus in there, Venus is having a very mercurial expression. Uh, Mercury is in Taurus, and Taurus is a Venus ruled sign. So both of these planets are in each other's signs, right? And so astrologers call that a mutual reception. So what does that mean? It means that right now, these these two planets are working together. They're furthering each other. So you could look at this as, if you have something that you want to say in relationship to a partner, because Venus is about one to one relationships, it's about balance, it's about partnerships, it's about connecting. If there is something logical, mental, intellectual, uh, getting down to brass tacks that you want to say to a partner, whether it's romantic or otherwise, now is a very good time to communicate that. Now is a very good time to say something logical, say something reasonable in a partnership, and it's a good time to get some good results from that. Okay, this energy is only going to be around for next few days or week, as far as positive outcomes, because we do have Venus slowly moving into direct square with Neptune. So for the next few days, week or so, it looks like it's a good time to make sense, and to be heard, to hear and to be heard on a one-to-one front when it comes to relationships. However, that will get a little murky as time goes on. So kind of take advantage of that now. It's also a good time, looking at it in another way, for using the Venusian energy in a mercurial way. So what does that look like? Well, Mercury rules the hands. So this is a great time to create something tangible, physical, that has a Venusian flavor to it. It's even Venus can have to do with adding that extra 1% to artwork. When you have Mercury in the sign of Taurus. So the Mercury in Taurus is about something material. I mean, this could just be building a garden, getting your hands in the dirt, right? Um, there's something aesthetic that you can add to that process, though, with this mutual reception from Venus. And with Mercury on Uranus, um, you'll have the aesthetics to add from Venus, but you'll also have the outside the box, completely creating something brand new, different, innovative, something that you've never thought of before, out of the blue. Like, where was that? Where did that come from? Kind of thing. Um, if there was ever a time to tap into some genius that you didn't know you had, now's the time, and to build something tangible with it. So just look for that. That's the energy that we're working with through the weekend. It's a very electrically charged energy. It's a very good energy. Very fun to work with. It can also, on the challenging front, it can be a little bit nervy because, there's a lot of electricity, a lot of fast moving energy, a lot of excitement, okay? A lot of individual buzz with this energy, but it's in Taurus, okay? So it wants to ground into the physical, okay? Taurus is like a grounding cord for that electricity, all right? So it wants to express in the physical, okay? So, there could be some impatience and some I want it now. I can visualize it, I can see it. Why can't I just manifest it? Well, because materially with fixed earth, it takes a little time. It takes, you got to go through the process. You got to get your wood, you got to get your hammer, you got to get your nails, you got to build a foundation first, and whatever. There's a whole process that goes along with it. So try as best you can to be patient and try to use this energy to think outside the box of how you can create things faster. So it's sort of a push pull in that you're going to want to be patient, but yet you're also going to have the innovation and the genius to circumvent and cut yourself a lot. Save yourself a lot of time to cut out a lot of steps if you need to. So have fun with it. See what you can create. I'll make another video about Venus because Venus is slowing down, getting ready to move into retrograde, and we are going to have a lot of newness around how we relate to one another. And this Venus going retrograde in Gemini is very tied into the new environment that we find ourselves in. How do we relate to one another on a casual level, socially, with lockdown and with distancing and everything? So hopefully with the video, I'll be able to add some clarity about timing, is what we can expect and how long it will last, and what this newness could potentially look like, because it will also be square to Neptune. So this is a big process that we're involved in, and yet we still have personal lives that we're living within it. So we'll make that video next couple of days. That's all I got for now. So through the weekend, just focus on creating something fun, innovative, genius, and I'll make another video and we'll talk about what comes next here in the next few days. Okay, that's what I got for now. All right, have fun. Bye.